This is my #1 business credit card of 2023, the Capital One Venture X Business. Why? Well, simply put, 99% of you who are getting this card are going to get paid to have it. And I'll explain that just in a little bit. Of course though, who am I to be giving this judgment? Well, hello, nice to meet you. My name is John of John's Finance Tips. I've spent the last decade in the credit card game. I've opened well over 60 plus credit cards and earned millions more of miles and points. Throughout my period, I have learned the ins and outs of credit cards to extract the most value. And the benefit that I've obtained from credit cards range from just getting free cell phone insurance to getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in free travel. But nowadays though, my mission is simple. I want to take everything that I've learned and put into practice and teach you so that you can up your credit card game and potentially put hundreds, maybe even thousands or tens of thousands of dollars back in your pocket. And in today's video, we're talking about one of my absolute favorite tools in the credit card game, and that is business credit cards. So the video is gonna have two parts. In part one are the 3 reasons of why you should be getting and considering business credit cards, even if you don't have like an official business. And in part two, we're going to be talking about my #1 business credit card of 2023, where we're going to break down the sign-up bonus, earnings, benefits, annual fee, my verdict, and be sure to stick around because in that segment, I'm gonna tell you how you can extract close to $10,000 of value from the very card. If that sounds like a plan, pop a squat, tap that little thumb icon, and we're gonna go ahead and get going. Now folks, I wanna be respectful of your time. So if you don't have time to sit through all of it, here's the TLDR. This card puts $5 back in your pocket. If you're a small business owner, get the card. If you want a premium travel card that puts money in your pocket, get this card. Small business owner plus premium travel card, you want money in your pocket, jump on this card. If you'd like to support the channel, you can feel free to check out my affiliate link down below. Now with that said, if you're still here and you still want to learn the ins and outs of the card, well, let's go ahead and dive in. Part 1, 3 reasons of why you should consider business credit cards. Reason number 1, business credit cards do not report to your personal credit report. The reason that's important is, let's say you run a small business, let's say you buy a ton of inventory, let's say you charge off a ton of stuff. Well, guess what? If you hold a balance on your personal credit card, you're gonna have a high utilization. That's gonna hurt your credit score. However, if you use a business credit card that doesn't report to personal credit bureaus, you can hold a balance and that utilization won't hurt you. Of course, don't hold balances on credit cards because the interest is gonna kill you, but that's one of the ways a business credit card can help your personal credit side. Reason number 2, the same reason that we wanna get a personal credit card to build personal credit, you wanna get a business credit card to build business credit. Because at some point, especially if you're running a successful business, you're gonna wanna go ahead and get a loan in the name of your business, not a loan backed by you. And so one of the easiest ways is get a business credit card, make payments on time and in full. You're starting to build a business credit profile for your business and voila. Reason number 3, folks, it's about the sign-up bonuses. The secret in the points and miles community is the fact that most people are not gonna get crazy value from just earning 1%, 2%, 3%, 5% cash back. Most people are getting value from getting sign-up bonuses after sign-up bonuses after sign-up bonuses. And the beauty of business credit cards is it's another opportunity to earn an elevated sign-up bonus. Oh, and also a lot of personal credit cards have a business flavor. Case in point, the Venture X Business has the Venture X Personal. So you can think of it as an effect of, hey, I can actually get quote unquote 2 sign-up bonuses from quote unquote the same product. Now that's not exactly how it works, but that's one way to think about it. Oh, and one last point. You don't need a business to get a business credit card. What I mean by that is you don't need a corporation, you don't need an LLC. In fact, you just need to be a sole proprietor because at the end of the day, when you file taxes, all of it's gonna pass through to your personal income anyway. You know, that's actually not that important. All you need to know is if you have done something to try to generate revenue this year, if you have done some sort of maybe gig economy work, if you have sold items online, if you have done something to try to generate revenue or intend to generate revenue, you would qualify as a sole proprietor and you can apply for business credit cards. One of my very first credit cards I ever applied for was with projected income of just $3,000 as a sole proprietor, and I applied for it in my name, meaning the business name was just John Liang. All right, so that's one thing to keep in mind, and that it's not this like super rigid structure thing. It's just, hey, have you started some sort of side hustle even to generate revenue or intend to generate revenue? If yes, then you can apply. Part 2, an overview of the Capital One Venture X Business. Now we've got 4 segments here. We're talking about sign-up bonus, earnings, benefits, annual fee, and of course, finally gonna be my verdict. With that said, let's kick it off with the sign-up bonus. It comes in at a whopping 150,000 miles, technically points. Capital One has weird vernacular. After you spend $30,000 in the first 3 months. Now, on the low end, I would say the 150,000 miles / points is probably worth about $1,500. On the optimized end, you could get well over $10,000 of value, which we're gonna cover in a later section. My comment though about this sign-up bonus is, yes, it's high, but the spend threshold, honestly, I think is a little ridiculous. $30,000 of spend. I mean, you compare this against the other heavy hitter in this space, which is gonna be the American Express Business Platinum, and usually that spend is anywhere from 10 to about 15,000, and you'll get about anywhere from 125 to 150,000 points. And so on this end, I think it's a little ridiculous. In addition to that, I was targeted with an offer from American Express Business Platinum for spending $30,000 to get 250,000 points. So for that, I'm gonna have to knock the sign-up bonus a little bit. That comes in at a 2.5 out of 5 JFTs. Next up, we have earnings. This card will earn 10 miles per dollar spent if you book hotel or car rental through the Capital One travel portal. You will earn 5 miles per dollar spent if you go ahead and book airfare through the Capital One travel portal, and you'll earn 2 miles per dollar spent everywhere else. And we're gonna pause on that. The 2x everywhere else with no limit is absolutely incredible for a business credit card. Because you have to think, folks, when it comes to business spending, if you have a ton of inventory, you're running a large business, you're putting through a ton of spend. And most cards are coming in at like 1x unlimited, 1.5x unlimited, 2x typically has like a limit. For example, I'm thinking about the American Express Blue Business Plus. I believe you can earn 2% cash back on up to $50,000 to spend in 1 year, and then it goes to 1%. The fact that this is 2x for everything for small business is insane. I mean, I could see people picking up some serious mileage / points here. Again, Capital One, like, can we just change it to points? Because it just gets confusing for the audience. But regardless, a 2x catch off for everything, no limit on a business card is insane. And so for this, my verdict would be a 4 out of 5 JFTs. The only knock is that there's no dedicated elevated earnings for travel, and I do see this kind of as a travel-oriented business credit card. But otherwise though, a 4 out of 5 is phenomenal. That 2x unlimited is incredible. Next section we have now is benefits. And if you're familiar with the personal flavor of the Venture X, you're gonna be very familiar with these benefits. The first benefit is that this card will get a $300 travel credit every single year that you can redeem through the Capital One travel portal. In addition, every single year you'll get a 10,000 miles, or equivalent to about, they call it $100, just for having the card. Every single year, they'll just deposit 10,000 miles into your account. And what's really nice about that is, unlike the travel credit that expires every year, the 10,000 miles, they don't expire. You can just keep banking them and storing them and then redeem later down the line. The card also offers you a credit to global entry. So for those of you who are unaware, if you want fast track back into the US, where literally you show up, scan your face and walk through without waiting in customs line, Global Entry is your friend. Global Entry also comes with TSA PreCheck, which is VIP entry through security. Keep your shoes on, keep your belt on, keep your laptop in the bag. It's phenomenal. The card also provides you access into Priority Pass lounges as well as Capital One's lounges, which they now have 2 open. Again, folks, when it comes to going through an airport and having a more elevated experience, lounges are your friend. Free food, free booze. I've been doing an incredible amount of traveling these past couple months, and the lounges are a game changer when it comes to just a place to chill instead of just crowding up around at the gate. In addition, this card also has transfer partners. What that basically means is you can take the miles that you earn on your Capital One card, you can transfer it to an airline partner, and that's where you're gonna get that outsized value. Remember earlier, there's a way to potentially get $10,000 of value from the points you earn from the card? Well, here's where we're gonna talk about how to do that. So we're gonna focus on 2 transfer partners, both of which I've used before, and one of which I actually used with my Capital One miles, but that was from the personal card. So the first one is gonna be looking at Turkish Airlines. So next year I'm gonna be heading out to the Philippines for a vacation. If you don't know anything about the Philippines, it's kind of difficult / annoying to get to from the East Coast, Boston specifically, and that obviously there's no direct flights and you have to connect. Luckily, I was able to find a great deal on Turkish Airlines where it only costed me 67,500 Turkish Airlines miles and about $400 or so in taxes and fees to fly from Boston to Manila. Now, if we instead had paid cash for the ticket, I'll go ahead and pull up a screenshot here, that would have costed well over $4,300 per person. That's an incredible amount of money. Now, of course, I'm not going by myself to the Philippines, I'm going with Viv, so for 2 people, that's well over $8,000 of travel value just from potentially could be just this one sign-up bonus from the Venture X business card. And again, I did transfer miles from my personal Capital One Venture X over to Turkish Airlines, but you could do the exact same for the business flavor of the Venture X over to Turkish Airlines. The second redemption we're going to be looking at is one of my favorite programs, and that's going to be the Air Canada Aeroplan program. So similar to Turkish Airlines, you can take your miles from Capital One and transfer them over. This particular flight, maybe you're interested in getting out to Singapore. Well, you've got 2 options. Option 1 is you can go ahead and book for this flight and pay well over $5,000 for the ticket. Or you could go to Air Canada and you can book using Air Canada Aeroplan miles, which you transferred over from your Capital One card. And now if you look at this booking right here, it would cost 87,500 Air Canada miles and about 76 Canadian dollars. Now, obviously you're not gonna go by yourself, so you double that, you're gonna be spending a little bit over 160,000 miles. You're probably thinking, wait, isn't the sign-up bonus only 150,000 miles? Yes, but remember, you actually have to spend $30,000 to get there, and the $30,000 is gonna be at a 2x earn. So you would actually come out with 210,000 miles after you hit the sign-up bonus for the Capital One Venture X. That's easy enough for 2 tickets over to Singapore. And if you had paid cash, well, that would have cost you well over $10,000 out of pocket. This is just a quick example of the value that you can get from your points when you take them from Capital One and transfer them to a flight partner, and then you start redeeming for outsized value. Because the other way you could argue it is, well, the 150,000 or the 210,000 miles that you get could be worth like $1,500 or $2,100, or it could be worth $8,000, $10,000, however you want to slice and dice it and find those sweet spot redemption. And if you're really curious to how exactly I go about travel hacking, I could leave a link a video up here, somewhere around here, that goes into more specifics on how exactly I do this whole travel hacking thing. Now let's talk about some of the business benefits of the card. The one thing that I found was interesting is they said there's integration for the Capital One card to an ERP, which I kind of have to laugh at, because if you don't know, in my previous life, I actually worked for SAP, which is one of the world's largest ERP companies. What is that? ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning. What exactly is that? Think about a company and their finances, and the finances have to be connected to their supply chain, their procurement, their manufacturing. And an ERP is like a big, bulky system. And it's funny that Capital One Venture X, or Capital One Business in general, calls out connection to an ERP, because like they list out things like QuickBooks and Gusto, and it's like, that's not, I don't know. I personally don't think of them as ERP. I think of them as primarily just finance software. Anyway, you probably don't care. I just thought it was an interesting quirk, but so it integrates to a bunch of stuff. Cool. You also get payment flexibility, which is really nice. So you can pick the due date. And so if you want to do cash flow management, that sort of stuff makes it easy. You can add free employee cards. And the other thing to note is this card has no preset spending limit. So in theory, you could spend as much as you want on it, but the catch is you have to pay it off every single month. And I know sometimes business versus personal, some businesses do hold a credit balance. I would argue don't do that, but regardless, you can't do that on this card. Otherwise, you're gonna be subject to a penalty. So it's really nice that there's no preset spending limit, but make sure you pay it off every single month. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit with penalties and late fees. Cool, so taking a look at everything from a benefits perspective, I'd say this is a solid 4 out of 5 JFTs. It really nails it from a travel perspective. You see the value of the miles. In addition, you also have some solid business benefits as well. And now we're on to the annual fee. This card does come with a hefty annual fee because it's a premium card. This card has an annual fee of $395. Yikes. But remember though, you have a $300 travel credit every year and a $100 anniversary credit. So that's $400 of credit. Well, if our math is mathing, you pay $395 for something, it gives you back $400 of value. Folks, you get paid $5 to have this card. That's actually insane. Like the amount of value it's driving, and don't forget, it's a 2x unlimited as a business card. I need to drill that point home. That is not a common thing for a card that then at the end of the day is net positive back in your pocket. Again, kind of a carbon copy of the personal card, but my whole thing is, and their whole thing probably is, heck, if it worked on the personal, why won't it work on the business? And my argument also now is it will absolutely work on the business side as well. So in terms of a rating, I mean, this is not a 5 out of 5, this is like a 6 out of 5 JFTs. To get quote unquote paid for a top tier business premium travel card is absolutely unheard of. I am absolutely jumping on this card any given day. If you'd be interested in the card, folks, you can always check it out down here. So we tally everything up. This card comes in at a whopping 16.5 out of 20 JFTs. What's my final verdict? If you're a small business owner, jump on this card. If you want a premium travel card for your business, jump on this card. If you want a premium travel card, you're a small business owner, and you want to get paid $5, jump on this card. This is a recommend any given day. The only knock again is the fact that I think the spend threshold is a bit elevated, but at the 2x for everything as a business owner, you're definitely gonna come out net positive. And if you're interested in the card at all, you can feel free to check out my affiliate link down below. For any comments or questions, drop them down as well. And as always, folks, this has been an incredible video. I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.